Alright, I think I've given it enough time. Welcome to the Cosmic Neko channel. I'm Cosmic, and well, I'm going to do just chatting today. Well, about what, you might ask? Well, it depends. It depends. If it takes a while for anyone to show up, I might just bring up something myself. But I would really like to talk to other people. That may not be an option though. So we'll see. We'll see about that. I gotta turn on my stream beats, of course. Don't want this to be complete silence without my voice. Is that's probably fine sound wise. It looks like it's alright for background music. And make sure my sound alerts are front and center. Make the announcement in my Discord, of course. Yes, send that. Give some time for notifications to go out. And, well, if no one shows, I'm just gonna have to talk to myself, so. Yeah. I have things to talk about. I just would like other people to be here while I do it. I suppose it'll be easier for you if you're in the future watching this as a recorded VOD. But otherwise, yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and wait to see if people start chatting. It's only been 2 minutes in, so of course, you know, it'll take some time. At least we got some nice music to wait with. A starting soon screen is something that I keep bringing up, but also keep not making. It would be fairly simple. All I'd have to do is probably just do the same thing that I did for my Be Right Back screen, except, you know, with starting soon, and then maybe get CC in a different pose for me. But I'm a little hesitant because I am trying to acquire a proper digital, you know, digital drawing tablet type of thing, so I can draw the things that I want to without the limits of pencil and paper, which I have discussed before in other streams. Not sure if whoever you are may have heard. But yeah, I wanna draw. I wanna draw. But every time I have to use pencil and paper and like colored pencils and pens and stuff, and it's just, it's not right. It feels very limited. So I'm going to be getting I have my eyes set on an they called it like an Artist 12. Can't remember who made it. hold on. If I go to Amazon, yeah. So it's XP Pen Artist 12 from. Does it not say on this page? I guess not. I'll have to click on it. Oh, XP Pen. Okay, so it's not. It's from XP Pen, called the Artist 12. Okay, well, that makes things a little clearer. But I can't buy it quite yet because I wanted to go back down to the price that I saw it at. I saw it like $30 cheaper than it is at the moment that I'm looking at it, and I really want it cheaper. I didn't want to waste any money. It wasn't a sale as far as I could tell, so it's a little frustrating that it went up in price, especially since I did check the store and it is at its other price that I saw it at for $30 cheaper, but I have an Amazon gift balance of $100 that I want to take advantage of, so I'm kind of stuck in a interesting place right now with this tablet situation, but I will solve it, and then I can start drawing, and when I get to a certain point that I feel is good enough, I'll start drawing my character CC and a bunch of my other characters, revamping them, upgrading them from paper to digital, but that'll come later. And then even later, when I finally have the story I've been working on written, at least a good portion of it, I can illustrate it and make it a web comic and put it on Webtoons and other places. And I really want to be versatile. I like streaming, but I also like drawing. I like playing video games. I like just talking. I like, you know, VR, technology. I haven't really touched on technology in this channel yet. My original plan, like years ago, when I wanted to start doing online entertainment like this, either on Twitch or YouTube, I didn't know which one yet, but I was thinking YouTube because I was really into tech, and I wanted to do overclocking videos and like making commentary on the news around like the CPUs and whatever, and I thought that would be fun. But then I found that there was like a bunch of other way higher quality people doing exactly just that, and I felt like it was a captured market. There was less of a chance that I would actually stand out there, and so I chose Twitch, and specifically video games at the time, to start. And I did like Trailmakers and Clone Drone and a bunch of other games that I don't want to list all of them because it's been like a year now, me playing like 25 to 30 different games on here, like AI Dungeon, and not even counting some of the streams that I did where I did a couple of other things as well. I tried a bunch of stuff, but you know, at the moment I would like to be talking to someone in the chat, but it's not necessarily that easy. I gotta get the sound alerts browser source open. So I had it on the Amazon page, so I was talking about the tablet. Yeah, alright. Cool. Can I just... If I pull it out on a separate one, will it just... Oh, hello. Silver the Shy. Wow. Interesting that you... In your username it says Shy. Is that referring to a shyness that you have, or something else? Because I know there's like names that kind of look like Shy, but like they have accents or something in a certain language, so it's more like Shay or something. Well, anyway, now that you're here, I'd like to talk to you. You already said hi, so I guess, you know, I kind of greeted you back. So, did you have anything necessarily that came to mind? I'm up for pretty much anything, although I'd like to avoid anything that'll bring down the chill mood. I don't know, maybe you just want to ask me, like, my favorite type of pizza. Oh, it's pretty classic, just pepperoni. From where? Well, it depends, but generally my favorite place tends to be a place called Papa John's. It's just a name I picked because I didn't want numbers or dashes. Yeah. I'm pretty lucky in it that the Cosmic Neko is fairly unique. So the only ones that have my name that I know of are like, there's like 2 cam girls where you look up the Cosmic Neko. I think there's one that has like Instagram and Twitter that's like kind of stealing my spotlight, and then there's also one that's just called Cosmic Neko that comes up first. I'm not big enough to override those results yet, so like if you tell anyone to look up the Cosmic Neko, they'll pop up, not me. So the Cosmic Neko Twitch is what you should look up, and I'll be right there. No garlic crust or anything? Well, the crust usually comes with pizza over where I'm from. There's like thin crust pizza, but I don't like that because it's like it's like a cracker. Like the crust is like a cracker, and I like a nice soft crust. Not too doughy though, but like enough to where it's structurally stable enough to hold itself together, but not so much to where it's like inflexible. Garlic, I don't usually add too much on it. Usually just whatever combination of mozzarella and other cheeses that they usually put on with the sauce and the pepperonis on the crust. Sometimes sausage, but if I add sausage, it changes the texture. Like I like the sausage taste better, but it adds a certain feel in my mouth that I like simple foods. it seems to be fairly uncommon, but like I'll get like burgers that only have
listening to Spotify.
the
No, really.
shut.
You could have listened to.
I'll mute that. I like getting burgers that have just like the ketchup, cheese, meat, and bun, but no pickles, no mustard, no mayo, no lettuce, no onion. I like to keep things simple, especially since I don't usually like a lot of the stuff I just mentioned. I'm a picky eater. I know. It's been something that's been told to me a lot throughout my life by family and such. Usually the less ingredients the better for me. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how to explain it, except it's probably like texture, how it feels in my mouth. I also like my food to taste consistent. I don't like it when like I take a bite out of a burrito and it's like all bean, you know? Like when there's like cheese and meat and whatever else in there, and all I got was a mouthful of tortilla and beans. It's just not as pleasant as like getting the whole thing together. I also don't eat for the sake of eating. Most of the time when I eat, I put the taste, how much I'll enjoy the food in the what's it called? Like, that's the most important part. I don't usually eat something just to eat it. I eat it because I want to put something delicious in my mouth. Sounds rough when eating out? Well, not always. There are some places that make it kind of difficult, but usually all I have to say is like just cheese and ketchup or whatever. Like I found simple ways of getting my idea across, especially since it was really confusing, you know, back when I was 10, like telling my dad to tell him no pickles, no onions, no lettuce, you know, whatever, when I could have just been telling him I only want ketchup and cheese on my burger. But there are some times, like, I'm trying to think of a place. I don't go to them very often, obviously, but it can be difficult to order sometimes at fancier restaurants. If they don't have like simple meals, or if like I have to get rid of half the food just to get only the stuff that I want. One thing that kind of bothers me is that like certain restaurants, the standard amount of sides will be like 2. So if I just want like a steak and a baked potato, I could ask for just that, but they'd still be charging the same amount as if I ordered a salad as well. So like, I'll make my parents spend more on me because I didn't want something. And so I usually get a third thing that, you know, kind of makes it impossible to eat the whole thing, because I don't eat a lot. I mean, I eat way more than my sister, but I'm not nearly on the level of like my dad or my oldest brother. They eat a lot. But I mean, like, I'm a twig. Like, I had to cut this watch just to fit around my wrist tightly. It's very strange, because I've never been told like that I'm unhealthy per se, and I'm way more fit than a lot of my family members. Like when we're on vacation, I can climb up to the bunk just fine. I can do about like 30 push-ups. I can run around. I can walk for like hours. I'm pretty much one of the only ones in my family that can keep up with our youngest family members. Like all the kids that are like 8 and under, they have all that energy, and so I'm usually the one that has to like deal with their antics, because I'm the only person there who has the energy to deal with it. But like, again, it's also inconvenient to be as skinny as I am, because like I can't wear like regular shorts my size that go to like the knee where I like it to go without having like so much extra slack around my waist, because those shorts were made for people who were bigger than me, and if I got custom made shorts that fit around my waist and went to my knee, they would look weird, like, because they'd look like long shorts, but that's only because like I'm lanky. I'm not tall. I'm like, I think I'm like right on average, but just like my lack of fat and or muscle just makes my proportions really weird to find nice clothes for. I usually end up having things that are too big and I just deal with it, because the things that fit me just right look weird. Have you tried getting beefy? Well, one of the only reasons why I can do 30 push-ups is because I have been like exercising. When I started exercising like 6 months ago, I could only do like 8 push-ups. It was really tragic. But now 30 is pretty reasonable for me to just drop down and do. I still can't reach like 50 or anything, but even though I think I've gotten better at making my body use my muscles. It doesn't really seem like I've added a lot of mass. It's kind of weird. And I think it's because I don't eat more than I need. And so I stop eating when I'm full. And that's like when my body has had enough. When to add more meat to your muscle, it's typically ideal to eat a lot so that you can burn the fat and like turn it into muscle. But like, since I have no fat, the muscle I do have is pretty apparent. Like, you can clearly see that. Even though it's small, it's like right there. But this is probably like smaller than average for like someone my age, but it just looks like more muscle because there's no fat covering it. It's kind of weird. Like, my body has reached a point of like max efficiency, I guess. And like to get beefy, I need to like get out of that and maybe like force myself to eat a bunch more than I need to so that I can get the fat I need to challenge my body to make it bigger. But like, I don't know. I don't have a fitness trainer, and I don't go to the gym. I just kind of do whatever I feel like. Sometimes I think being beefier would be kind of nice, having that extra strength, but I'd rarely use it. I know that my oldest brother goes to the gym and is really big compared to me, especially because he works in like construction. He's like a pipe fitter, I think. So he like has to pick up all the pipes and like move them into their spots and like tighten up the connections, make sure that there's like no air leaks or whatever. And so like you need a lot of strength to deal with all that. And he just likes being that big in general. Like he was working on his strength even before he had that job. Back when he was in high school, he was like going to the weight room and working on it. Wow, I've pretty much never done anything taxing on my body in my entire life since I stopped doing those junior sports that we have in our city. I haven't done any proper sport since like middle school. Yeah. The most taxing thing I've done since in middle school has been those exercises that I've only started doing like last year or this year. No, it was this year, right after 2020. Other than that, I don't know, Beat Saber. Beat Saber, you don't really need a lot of strength for, but if you want to do like Expert and Expert Plus, you need a lot of speed. And so like I can get out of breath just like launching my arms in all the directions that I need to on an extended period of time. But it's fun, so I do it, you know. I haven't.
Ooh, what a vibe. Yo,
Shush.
I love
Shush.
how the four members.
Shut. Ad. Hopefully my sound alert box still works, since it's not the focused window, so I'm not sure if it should work or not. I think it should, but what I was gonna say before the ad interrupted me is that, speaking of Beat Saber, it has been a while since I've played Beat Saber, and that's mostly due to the fact that I've gotten kind of tired of the standard OST and a bunch of the modded maps and mods in general that I had for it, like, kind of broke, and I don't know how to fix it without like uninstalling and reinstalling another mod manager. But if I do that, I'm afraid that I'll lose all the songs and stuff that I have saved on the current mod manager. So it's like, it's mostly the songs, because the mods don't work anymore. So like I won't have like my katana blades, or like the special like counters and stuff. But there are a lot of songs that I got by downloading them through the mod manager, and I don't want to lose the like 100 something songs, probably more, that I got, just because I want my katanas and counters back. Although, because my mods don't work, I'm also missing out on new songs that could be getting made. It's really a predicament. Well, I keep talking just because I don't want there to be silence for too long. But you can, what other option is there? Well, see, I haven't had a super strong desire to play Beat Saber, so I haven't gone through the effort to do it. But I know that the songs are stored somewhere. So if I can find that place, I can just take the files elsewhere so that they're preserved when I do the mod reboot, or whatever you'd like to call it. And then I'd have to turn off Beat Saber's auto update, because the thing that breaks the mods every time is that the Oculus Store that I got it on automatically updates it, and they keep updating it to be incompatible with the mods, because you're not supposed to mod Beat Saber, even though it's really the only reason why anyone plays it still, besides the new players. But the people who are like Beat Saber streamers and YouTubers only get content because there's like a mod that like makes Beat Saber more of like a target practice shooter where the blades are replaced with guns and you shoot instead of slice. Or there's ones where it turns your double blades into a single double blade, and you gotta like, you know, do trick stuff. And then there's also like really cool maps that get made with the mods that you can't do without the mods. But for some reason, like, they keep disabling them and making it difficult on people every update. It really, the only reason why I can think that they would want to do this is because of the money they make off of forcing people to get their DLC songs. Because if the mods are enabled, you can just download the DLC songs through other people, because other people can remake the DLC songs for free on the other platforms, so that other people can download it for free. But there's so much more to mods than just people copying DLC songs that they haven't added any option for in Beat Saber. Like, it would make sense if Beat Saber was adding these mods into the base game, but they're just disabling them for a reason that I don't think they've made clear. Whether it's like Oculus just using their iron fist and being like, no, we must restrict the amount of enjoyment people can have from this game that we're making tons of money off of. Why would we want people to use mods when it makes the game so much more fun, when we can make people buy DLC that literally only adds new maps to play and nothing cool? I don't know. Beats me, really. Businesses are so strange. It's really one of the reasons why I want to succeed on here and the other places that I'm planning to get on, is because I want to reach success so that I can use it properly. Because it's so weird how these great like games and concepts and whatever can be completely destroyed by a company for a motive that just doesn't make much sense. Like, I want to know who is behind the last Star Wars trilogy, because that was awful. Why did they do all that? Why did they make that entire trilogy? I mean, Disney made tons of money, but they lost a lot of respect. They could have done it right, but they didn't. They have the power to do it right, but they didn't. Who were they trying to please? Because as far as I know, it was no one. Except for maybe feminists who are finally glad that there was a female protagonist who got the spotlight in those movies. But like, I don't know. I don't know. Your internet quit? Oh, I'm so sorry. Do you remember exactly where you missed? Was it like right after your last message? I can kind of try and summarize what I said. But it was a good amount of stuff. If you don't remember, I can just restart from what you said, but if you were around for a little bit after, it would be helpful. Oh, well, yeah, Beat Saber has mods that make the game like 100 times more enjoyable, but every Beat Saber update disables the mod manager's ability to put them in the game, and it's really frustrating because it makes no sense why, as a business, either Oculus or Beat Saber, because Oculus owns Beat Saber, would disable mods when those mods gather so much attention to the game and make the people who get the game have so much more fun. Why would you want to take away that fun if you're trying to sell that game? I understand that the businesses want to make money, but how does taking away fun from a game make more money? And then I went on to talk about how there's so many other successful things, and I named the Star Wars last trilogy that Disney made. Well, Disney had the power to do so much good with the Star Wars series, but they actually completely ruined it for a lot of people. And they still made a lot of money, but I feel like they could have made a lot more if they had actually made good additions to Star Wars. Like The Mandalorian, I heard, is really good, but I'm not in the financial situation to afford Disney Plus. And then I went on to say that that's one of the reasons why I'm driven to succeed on whatever platform I decide to go on. Like Twitch right now, I'm gonna keep working at it. I'm working on a story that I want to, you know, put out there and see if people like it. But first, I gotta get it done. It's in the early stages right now. I just trying to put something together at the moment. Then, obviously, eventually, if I can make enough money from Twitch, I'd like to hire or take the time to learn how to edit, because then I can do YouTube stuff. Because right now on YouTube, all I basically do is archive my VODs, which isn't much. Pirate it, yeah. I guess that is an option, but then there's also art stuff I want to do. I want to be a digital artist as well, not one that like asks for commissions or stuff. I'm just gonna make the stuff that I feel like making and post it on a bunch of places, and then people, if they like it, I can forward them to my other stuff, and then they'll get in an ecosystem of some sort. And then all this, I want it, and it should, if I do everything right, to build up to me having a lot of power to make things like YouTube videos or you know, add extra to the stuff that I already have using the extra funds that I'll get from people's support. And I want to keep making people enjoy my content. Well, making people enjoy my content sounds weird, but I want to keep doing my best and making stuff that people like and that I like, and maybe I don't know, eventually find out one day why these companies do things that are like just bad ideas. Like I want to get enough power to get inside these companies and studios and get a closer look and find out how it's actually worth it to them as a business to make god-awful decisions. Like there's so many things that like are so close to being really good, but they screw them up somehow. Like gacha games. I hate gacha games because they have the essence of sometimes really good, engaging games that would be really awesome if you weren't either forced to grind for days at a time for single rare objects that you need to do any sort of good, or pay hundreds of dollars to get all that stuff quicker. When, I don't know, like Genshin Impact is like the art is good, the lore is pretty good, the game itself runs fairly well for how well it looks. Its combat is pretty engaging, but I just can't play it anymore because I can't keep gambling on my chance to get new characters after I've saved up pyro gems for like days and not getting anything good. And it just feels like I'm wasting my time, even though there was a really good game behind it. It suffers from being a gacha game. And so the only people who can really enjoy it are people with money or no life. They're missing a huge market. I feel like they'd have so much more love and attention if they had just charged you $60 up front, and then maybe instead of having free updates, just charge DLC, which is the more traditional, less frustrating way to add new content to a game. Because gacha, I feel like, is the least enjoyable addition to a game. Like adding a gacha feature or a loot box feature can ruin a game completely. But because it makes so much money, they do not care. If I develop a game, I wouldn't care that much about money. I mean, I'd still want to make a profit, but I wouldn't try and squeeze out every drop. I'd just try and make a good game, charge a reasonable amount for it, make my profits, and move on. instead of causing major suffering to anyone trying to enjoy it without paying. Free to play is really the really like because technically it's free to play, but free to enjoy is another thing. If a game is free and enjoyable, it doesn't exist. I've never heard of it. I've never heard of a... Oh wait, actually, there used to be Flash games. Flash games you didn't have to spend a cent on, but you still had lots of fun playing them. I mean, there was Happy Wheels, Super Smash, Flash. There was like other ones on Miniclip. There was a ton on Miniclip that I used to play, and Miniclip made their money off of ads that didn't intrude on your game. They just sat in the background, you know, kind of going like, hey, you want to buy me? And you could be like, no, and look away. But nowadays, you know, if you try and play a free game, it's like every 10 minutes you like gotta see an ad, and then you gotta click that X. Well, at least on mobile. Just like the free aspect of some of these are kind of illusions. And you liking Smite is fine, but yeah, there's really not. Why can't I think of a game? A game that I played recently that's free that I also enjoy. I don't know. I've had a couple of games that I've played for free recently, but I'm trying to remember if I've enjoyed any of them. I recently downloaded Splitgate, but I haven't played much of it, and as far as I know, you only pay for skins, which is fine, I guess. Although that slightly annoys me too. Is paying for looks, because it's completely fair. It doesn't change your performance in the game, and you can enjoy the game just fine without like skins, you know, because all they do is look cool. But I like things looking cool a lot. Aesthetics are really important to me, but I also don't want to pay money for skins, because it just, like, they're not that important that I'd spend any of my money on it. I don't like spending money at all. Not to say that I don't, but everything that I have to spend money on, I've gotten my use out of it. I have not regretted any purchases. I make sure that I don't. Like, there's games that I play where all you do is like build, like you make like cars and planes or other contraptions, but there are certain blocks that would look a lot cooler if you had the skins for them. Like there's a game called Space Engineers that I played a ton before they added their DLC, and their DLC is a special case where it's not like typical DLC, because usually in games DLC was just a way for games to add like another map or like an extra story or whatever after the release of the game. But in Space Engineers, they add completely new blocks with functions and everything, which can enhance your builds and give you advantages, and not just aesthetically, compared to people who do not pay for the packs. And so it's kind of annoying, because Space Engineers isn't one of those games that has like a story or anything, because it's mainly a sandbox or a survival game. Like, you know, the DLC concept doesn't really jive with it too well, because, well, at least the way they've used it, because the way they've used it, it makes you, it's like, it's not worth it to a lot of people to pay to have 5 more blocks to use, or skins, you know, paint jobs or whatever. But that's all there is. It's not like they added like a new planet or whatever behind the DLC. It's just, I don't know, it's hard to describe. I think that there is a better way to implement it. You gotta head out, well, that's fine. I mean, I can't make you stay around forever, but if you want to come by again, the best way to do that would be to probably join my Discord. I would say follow, but that hasn't seemed to be as reliable as advertised. But you also don't, or you can't if you don't want to. Mixed up my sentences there. Although, if he's gone, or she, I will need a new person to talk to. No one else has talked. I'll have to start talking to myself. Well, I kind of am technically, because there's no one else around me physically. But there's people behind this camera. I can't see them, but oh, well, you said you gotta head out. That's like a goodbye type of thing. But alright, okay, you clarified. Alright. It still would be nice to have someone other than them around. in the chat specifically. There's probably more people here just not talking. Apparently I have a notification in Discord. I thought I'd silenced this. Why is it still telling me? What the heck? I'm in this Discord that I've silenced the notifications on, yet for some reason it still happens to give me notifications. Don't know why. Seems kind of strange to me. Like, imagine if you put your phone on silent and then immediately it starts to ring because someone called you. It's like, nah, silent mode. Silent mode. I mean, can still vibrate to let you know. Can, whatever. I've been speaking rather annoyedly lately about things. The conversations I've been having, or well, conversations, the topics I've been going over have been kind of upsetting, I guess. What's something else? We could change the topic from companies ruining our lives by deceiving us. And talk about something better than that. I'm all ears. I'm all ears. I'd like to hear what anyone thinks is a good topic. Anyone at all. I mean, I labeled the stream AMA and anime because I'm ready to answer anything, pretty much. And, well, you can ask anything at least, whether I'll answer is another question. And anime, because I'd be open to talking about anime for sure. I like anime. My mascot is anime. Well, technically not, because they haven't been any official productions yet. Sound alerts. Right, need to make sure this window doesn't fall asleep. You can't see, but it's my sound alerts. So if anyone ever does pay bits or channel points to make a noise on my stream, it needs to be ready. Although I have been kind of talking for an hour, maybe I should move on to something else. If cause man, this just chatting type stream kind of relies on chatting, but I can't chat by myself. But like, what am I supposed to do? Bring an audience ready to talk? How do I do that? How do I do that? I can't just conjure up people to my stream. So I just start a stream and let people come in. Whether people do is hit or miss. maybe it would be a better idea just to stay off of just chatting until I have a better following, but when there's actual discussions going on, these streams are very nice and pleasant. Let's see. I can talk about. You know what? I'll at least wait until the other guy is back, because I would hate to leave him out of a conversation. By the way, that was M-E-M, shortened them, just in case anyone wants to yell at me about pronouns and their importance. He is, or they are the only ones talking, so to exclude them wouldn't be very smart. In my opinion. If you disagree, you gotta speak up. Oh wait, you can't, because you're not here, are you? Anyone willing to speak up would have, huh? Huh? Isn't that the case, right? For sure, for sure. And the rest is history. That doesn't work here, does it? I mean, I don't use that phrase very often. Sound alert's source is blinding. All it is a white window. There's like nothing on it. It's just white. Okay, just bear with me. I'm waiting. Just listen to the music. The lo-fi hip-hop beats. The stream beats. Lo-fi edition. He said BRB. But he is not right back. Or I'm sorry. I apologize for assuming that they're he, but it's just, it's a bad habit. I really wanted to wait for him, but they're taking a while. It's not looking too good. Oh, their internet might have gone down again. And I'd have no idea. Now I feel bad for making people wait with me. I really didn't think it would take this long. They said package. Silver said that. Huh. They didn't say that they were getting a package. They just said package. What could it mean? What could it mean? I'll give him one more minute. One more minute. If they don't return, if they do not return in the next 40 seconds, okay, well, 40 seconds starting now, I'll just have to come up with something myself. Or well, see, every time I find someone new, I like to bring up the story that I'm working on that I mentioned briefly a while ago, because it does seem to get people rather interested, because it's a cool story, right? It's a cool story, but if I don't have anyone to talk to about it, I'll just be shouting into the void. No one will be receiving any of the information I'm putting out. Oh. Alright. Here we go. It's been a minute. So instead, I'll talk about I need a topic. Slinkies. Yes. This is a slinky. Everyone knows this. And I happen to have one just up there, on the shelf. And I'm kind of curious to hear if Nope, I can't do that, huh? No one else here is talking. Okay, well, I happen to win a lot of these at what do you call them? They're like party places. Like there's like Chuck E. Cheese's and Peter Piper's Pizza. There's like Boston's. They like have arcade sections with their food, and I know I've won a lot of Slinkies there at those places. Slinkies and other sorted gizmos and toys and candies. Although I've stopped getting candies when going to those because candies are not forever. Although that argument doesn't really stand too well because I should have a ton of Slinkies because of how many I've won, but man, I can't seem to find any others. It's just this one, which leads me to wonder, where do these go? You know, like when you clean up, you've basically gone through an entire room, put everything where it needs to be, picked up the trash, moved all the objects that aren't where they're supposed to be, and organizing everything and whatever. But there are some objects that just get lost forever. Over a span of at least 12 years, I have been acquiring Slinkies. And this is the only one I have now. There are metal ones, there are small ones, there are ones that are just one color, ones with gradients, and all the ones that I have besides this one are gone. It's a weird phenomenon. It happens with darts, Nerf darts as well. You shoot those suckers around the house, pick up as many as you can, but then eventually you find you're out of bullets, or you have very few left, even though you've been pretty aware and have been, you know, making sure to take note of wherever they land and picking them up when you can, and yet they're just gone. Pencils, erasers, other assorted school supplies, you drop those on the floor, if you don't find them within 10 minutes, there's a good chance you'll never see them again. And that would be a shame, huh? Would be quite a shame. Man, I owned a pencil for my entire I think I got it in my freshman year of high school, and I kept it throughout the entire rest of the time in high school. Okay, the 3 years after that. But then I start staying home, and somehow it's just gone. Nowhere to be found. what is this phenomenon? You know, where you just lose things. They're physical. They are restricted into 3D and 4D space. They can't just, you know, disappear. You can't just go away. They have to be somewhere. But that somewhere is nowhere to be found. Like, I'm not alone in this. I know I'm not. There have been plenty of people who I know have lost things like this. And plenty of people that I don't know who have posted in memes and stuff. It's an unsolvable problem. And if we could solve it, maybe we would have the key to, well, whatever the method, you know, this phenomenon could be abusing, whether it's wormholes or portals, quantum mechanics. They have to be defying physics in some way, because if they weren't, we'd be able to find them. They wouldn't be gone forever, you know? But they are. But maybe if we can turn that forever into a someday, I don't know. I'm no scientist, but I think it's worth looking into. I'm not sure how you would set up such an experiment, but it seems like it could be vital. I mean, imagine if we could do it with people. If we could send people wherever these objects may be going to, what secrets we might be able to find. Maybe I'm just crazy. I mentioned that I used to get candy instead of, or with, toys and gizmos from these party places that have like the arcades in them, and well, I said it was because candy isn't forever, and well, what I meant by that, if you didn't know or couldn't put it together, is that, well, once you eat candy, it's gone. So I don't want to use my resources on anything that will be gone within the next minute, you know? Like, it just stopped seeming worth it to me to get like a Tootsie Roll if all it was gonna do is make me feel a little bit more happy for the next minute. I'd rather get something like a Slinky that should stay around for quite some time. This one has, I don't know how long, but man, just where did the rest go? Unsolved mysteries. I wish I could solve these mysteries.
This ad is almost 3 million gallons long. Because it's
Okay,
exactly the same
shush.
amount of time it takes for that much water to flow over the deck at Niagara.
Nope. I don't care about that, whatever it is. Okay, no ad, please, no ad. Okay, come on. Oh, you have returned with new books. Are they books for entertainment or for education? You don't have to state specifically what kind of each if you don't want to, but just curious. Entertainment. So we talking regular like word books, or are we talking comic book, manga, the other one that's also Japanese, kind of outdated, but maybe a magazine? Regular. The written word. Yeah. I'm working on my own written word book, although I don't know if it'll ever be a book per se. I don't know if it'll be physical, but I did mention previously, and I don't know if you were there, Moshi by Banana Yoshimoto. I recognize Moshi, but I don't remember what it means, and I don't know who that author is. I'm not actually a big fan of written word books, but I am making one, and well, autocorrect and such are really reinforcing the fact that I really don't know how to write, but I work out the problems, and they eventually become, you know, coherent sentences and whatever I need them to be. Right. I think I recognize it from all the memes that were featuring like there's like anime characters that have gotten on the phone and it said Moshi Moshi, and I think I've seen it in text as well. Other than that, I don't know. I don't know if I've actually... I don't know if I've heard it in any of the anime I've watched. Usually they just say like yo or something. Moshi Moshi is a greeting that I don't hear frequently used. It's like howdy. You don't hear howdy a lot these days in English. Well, right. I would. That is true. That is true. Still doesn't mean that it's probably one of the least popular ways to greet someone these days. I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I don't hear it a lot from people. Mostly cowboys. Just kidding. Cowboys aren't people. Just kidding. I am just kidding. Alright. I'm not oppressing the cowboys, okay? It's all a joke. I'm a character? What do you mean by that? Is that like, are you using it in the sense as in like, you're a weird one? Like, you're unusual? Or a more literal sense, you calling me a character? Or like saying that I look like a character in something? I'm assuming it's the, okay. See, that's another thing that I don't usually hear being said in real life. To me, especially. People just usually call me strange or weird or bizarre or unusual, peculiar. Those types of words. Yeah. Well, I mean, those little quirks of mine are probably going to help me with the story that I'm writing, because I hope it doesn't come off as like narcissistic or anything to people, but the main character in my story is Cosmic, which is me, the kind of my streamer name. It's not my channel name. My channel name is the way it is because it's based off of my mascot, Cece. I don't know if you've seen her. She's around at places. She's got a full, like, you can see her in full basically if you just scroll down to the about page. Well, I don't. It's not necessarily a self-insert story, but I guess I have self-inserted me, but it's not gonna be one of those ones where I make the character basic and relatable enough to where other people can go like, oh yeah, that's me. If people go like, oh yeah, that's me, then they're wrong. But yeah, I felt like making myself the main character was good for a couple of main reasons. I haven't actually numbered them yet, but I first got the idea because the story is supposed to be kind of it's supposed to work together with my Twitch. Basically, I want to make this story to promote myself. So if people like the story and the main character, they'll like me, and so I can send them over to my other stuff, and my other stuff, if people like that, I can send them to my story, and hopefully they can feed into each other and help me gain the power I need on the internet, the influence, the popularity to sustain myself, and eventually more than that. But that's far in the future. And I also thought that it was a good idea because I know myself the best, and so it'll be easiest if the main character was me, because it would be super easy to just think about what would I do in this situation instead of making another character and trying to create an entire new person to work off of. So you could argue that it's kind of lazy on my part to use myself, but whatever, I don't care. And then I also think that I could do better than some other characters, because there are times when I'm watching anime or reading manga, comic book, or watching a movie where I instantly can come up with the right strategy to defeat the opponent, whereas it could take the main character in that so long it sometimes becomes painful to watch, where like it's just like it starts to bother me. And I'm trying to stay away from making me what they call a Mary Sue. I don't want to be like some unstoppable character that knows exactly what to do at all times, because I am not that type of person. I want to be realistic and accurate. So I won't make myself completely overpowered automatically just because I want to make myself look good. Especially since I'm like I'm starting it out very slow. First, it'll just be me and my mascot, and then eventually we'll go on an adventure that can involve some action and mystery and I don't know, whatever else I decide. There's a difference between viewer and character though. As a viewer, you have the luxury of knowing all sorts of characters
and unlock access to ad-free music. That means any playlist or radio station you want without ad interruptions. With radio stations, create a collection.
That's not always the case. Sometimes I only know as much information as the character, and I guess the time thing, anime and other like media is kind of weird with how time works sometimes, so I'm not sure about that. But like sometimes they're just stupid, like stupider than a bag of rocks. like there are times when they assess the situation and choose all the wrong answers. Like, I'm trying to think of one at the moment. That is the case. The viewer is always going to know more than the character. That's just the nature of media. Like, I'm trying to think of a situation here, because man, just I'm trying to like cycle through everything. Like, there are times when the opponent has just showed themselves and has like demonstrated what they can do a bit during a fight, and the hero is just, have you played Subnautica? No. Mostly because I haven't had enough spare money to buy it. It looks like a pretty nice game, but I'm poor boy. But I'm trying to think. Like, there's sometimes enemies that can like regenerate or heal or whatever, and the hero has no counter to it whatsoever, yet they still choose to fight and risk their life and almost die. And it's frustrating. Sorry, VR player, if you're just getting in on this, but I'm just talking about how I'm making a story with myself or Cosmic as the protagonist, and I'm trying to find situations where I would do better in a situation than certain protagonists or characters in a story. Sometimes it's not necessarily that I think I'd win, but that it was stupid that they fought despite all the disadvantages. And then sometimes the character isn't as creative as I am, so they wouldn't have thought to use their power in a certain way until someone else told them. Like, someone has the power to they have telekinesis, and sorry, I'll get to that, VR player, but they have telekinesis and they only use it to throw knives around, when they can use it on anything. They could even create a platform for them to levitate and fly around. They could pick up their clothes and an extension themselves, but they choose to limit themselves to knives? Like, why? And then there's ones where, like, with airbending. Airbending relies on oxygen as fuel. Oxygen is within the air. And so if an airbender and a firebender fought, the airbender could just take away the fuel to their fire and the fight would be over. Like, there's so much potential for certain powers that I see in media, and they're just completely limited by the user. And I think that if I had some of these powers, my creativity would give me so many more advantages to this character, or against this character. And so I might, you know, address that in my story. But again, like, I want to be accurate and realistic. So again, like, there will be definitely times when I'll lose, or that a plan will backfire, or I won't be able to properly perform my strategy, hence a loss. I definitely want to avoid making it easy for me to be the best around, basically. Like, I'm not gonna be some sort of Master Chief or Iron Man. Like, I mean, even Iron Man, even though he's got like that suit and he's smart, he's got a lot of skills, he still loses just because he doesn't have enough power. I mean, Batman needs his tools. Without them, he'll lose. I'll get to VR player and then silver again. If you play Subnautica, prepare for stage 5 Phasmophobia, or at least that's what the people who played say. I don't know which one that is, but is that the one that has to do with spiders? I know some people had to disable some of the creatures because they look like spiders. I'm not really, I don't have any phobias, as far as I know. The only thing that really scares me are jump scares, because they're sudden and unexpected. But like, if I'm playing a game where there's like a ghost haunting a place and like there's like blood splatters everywhere, I'm like, oh neat, yeah, alright. But as soon as like a creepy face just pops up on the screen instantly, I jump. In the airbending example, that wouldn't work. Bending is a magic-based thing, not science. On top, it's established airbenders are non-violent. No. That's exactly, well, I guess, since I don't know what about the magic thing, but that's exactly why they would do it. It's because they're non-violent. They wouldn't want to fight. So they would just take away the fire. They would take away the oxygen around the fire so that it wouldn't get any more fuel, but I guess maybe that wouldn't work. But if it did work, that would be the best way to disable opponent's greatest asset. That's the best non-violent way to do things. And then fear of large bodies of water. Oh no. In real life, I would hate being stranded out in the ocean, but it doesn't really work in video games because I know the worst it can do is, well, make me restart a section because I drowned or whatever. Like, seeing the deep down in video games, no problem. I was talking about his spider comment. Yeah, arachnophobia. Now it's clicked. Have you seen Subnautica? Yeah, I've seen some playthroughs, although I don't remember a lot of it, so it would be fresh if I ever bought it, probably, pretty much. there'll be things that'll be like, oh yeah, but it won't be like, alright, speedrun time. Because I know everything. But like, with my character and my story, the accumulation of power will be very long, and it'll take a lot of practice, and I'll need to take lots of time. That's exactly why they wouldn't do it. Firebending is in a series, comes directly from the person firebending it, not external sources. So they would have to vacuum the bender, which is a violent and what? No, they well, again, I guess it wouldn't work, but if it did, they would not vacuum the entire person, just the fire, like as it comes out. But that's only if it worked, apparently. I'm not saying that they would suffocate the entire person. That would be very violent and unnecessary, but it has been done. I know an airbender has choked someone to death through oxygen deprivation. Here's a Leviathan. Oh yeah, I've seen the Leviathan. Imagine seeing that while stranded in the ocean. Well, in real life, oh no. But in a video game, I can separate my game self from my real self. From Subnautica 2, I think I've seen both of them. I guess I'll click on your link. It wouldn't hurt. Well, we can move on from airbending. Okay, I have seen this one, but it is not the one that was coming to mind. Yeah. Kind of looks like a creepy spearhead type of thing. I need to make sure my sound alerts is not going to sleep. But let's see, another power that is being underutilized. Let's see. There are ones where like with earthbending, Toph was the only one that thought about the minerals that actually go into the metal and controlling the earth inside the metal. Not really one that I think I would have thought of first either. But that is a time when they weren't thinking outside the box enough and limited themselves. Let's see, with water bending, I think, why didn't I think of water bending? Water bending is the most underutilized one. I mean, the blood bending is cool and all, but there's so much more you can do than is shown. Than like, I don't even think they explored it in Legend of Korra. They did some new things here and there in Legend of Korra, but like, there's moisture everywhere, and so if you master waterbending enough, you basically have an unlimited supply of water. And I guess you can kind of make the air pretty dry, but inside your own body there's always going to be a small supply of water, and so as long as you're living, there's water. You can do more than just freeze and slash things, but that seems to be most of what they do. You can also, you know, put water in something and then pull it apart. You could they always use like big like waves and like slashes, but really, like, if you want to do damage, like, you probably want to make it like as thin as possible to like cut through it, or like let's see, I'm not really sure about this, but there are a couple of times where people have picked up things using water bending, like pushed it around with waves. Oh, Sky City Prince, thank you for following. And I don't know why they don't push around things more often. There's in the bending cases, it seems like they're limiting themselves to only what is just in front of them. Yeah, Sahir and Korra. Okay, I wasn't sure if I was gonna say, because it's kind of a spoiler if you haven't seen Legend of Korra. And that's the first and only time it happened, because it went against... Yeah, I understand that it was a violent act, but I was mentioning that it did happen, and that morals in that case was what was restricting the potential of airbending. They had I remember bloodbending as a form of waterbending. Yeah. They had a whole episode dedicated to where and how waterbending could be used in the way you're talking about, specifically the bloodbending episode. Yeah. That's what I was saying. They already went over bloodbending, but water is in a lot of stuff. And if you feel bad about manipulating people, well, just put a bunch of water bottles in a dummy. You can have a dummy army. Like, get a bunch of mannequins and fill them with water, and you can move around entire, like, people like drones. Oh my gosh. You could like power planes using bending. Like, they have so much machinery and stuff in Legend of Korra that's using like coal to like burn and like create steam, and using steam engines and stuff, but they have bending. Why are they restricting themselves to science when they have supernatural powers like that? They had a whole epic. Okay, I read that. My name is VR Player, but have you ever asked yourself who is the player? No, I have not. Not just bloodbending, water in the plants, animals, air too. Yeah. You could there was the swamp guys that could control plants, like, and like, just these things aren't known. And as I was saying before, with the like puppets, the water puppets, and now that I remember, one of the swamp guys was controlling the vines using water, and he had like a big mech thing to like smash stuff, basically. It's so crazy to me that if you just think about the abilities you might have, or the abilities that you have, you can apply them in so many ways that aren't so straightforward, but are still really useful. Like, it annoys me sometimes how there could be a really powerful character, but they're less educated than most and use it in a fairly unimaginative way. They aren't restricting themselves to science though. In the first show they powered trains with earthbending, manipulated well, yeah. Okay. Right, there were they were using earthbending for transporting goods and people in the Earth Kingdom, Ba Sing Se, right? It was Ba Sing Se. Yeah, with the Dai Li and whatever. Oh yeah, the Dai Li. The Dai Li had used their earthbending to control their gloves. They had gloves, so they could like fire off like long range like punches, you know, like because they had like made fists and like launched them, and they could like grab people and hold them against walls and stuff. You could do that with other parts of your body as well, not just your hands. But they didn't. Like they were like, all right, this is cool, and thought it was enough, but they lost, so clearly it wasn't. You should always be thinking about how you can improve yourself, even in real life, I guess. You know, if you're not good enough at a video game, think about what you're doing wrong. But with powers, it's even more important to have an edge against your opponents. They aren't restricting the problem you have isn't the media in question isn't using the full potential of their power systems. It's that not everything is doing a no holds bar free for all with their powers that would get them insanely boring in a story if they functioned in the way you wanted. Things need limitations like personal preference, culture, time period, etc. That is a good point. That is this isn't a gripe with Avatar necessarily. Avatar is a wonderful series. It's really good. I like it a lot. Legend of Korra, not as much. It was alright. But I feel like the restrictions are still there, and they are understandable, but I personally think that the stories could have been more interesting if less of them were there. If all airbenders were going around vacuuming the life out of stuff, what would be the point? Well, that's exactly it. Is that the conflict in series in shows, in movies and stuff, is about overcoming conflict, overcoming challenges. And so ideally you'd want the tensions and the challenges to be as high as they possibly can, within a reasonable measure. That way, when you succeed, it's satisfying. Or more satisfying. From a story perspective, you want the tensions to be high. And so, if there was an airbender who just kept suffocating people before they could do anything, that would be a major threat. And the only one who would be able to combat him would be other airbenders. But they're non-violent, so they probably wouldn't have the heart to take him down. That would make things really intense. Although not really family friendly, but theoretically. So like, you know, in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Dio can only be fought by Jotaro in any meaningful sense because he is so gosh dang powerful that no one else can rival him. Only Jotaro could. And that's what made that fight so intense, is because we had to rely on Jotaro to do the best he could to take down this villain. And he did. He succeeded. And it made us all happy. We enjoyed that stuff. Alright, if we were like, whoa, no. Jotaro and Dio are too powerful. Almost no one else can beat them except each other. Let's tone it down a bit. You're not meeting your potential. And I think that it would just be better to cut someone out completely if they have the potential to be too powerful to be beaten at that time. Then don't have them around. You know, like, sometimes it annoys me that there's like people who are around the whole time that are like 10 times more powerful than the current villain, but we don't know about him yet, and he's not doing any villainy yet. So, you know, as far as we know, that villain is the worst villain ever. But then all of a sudden, as soon as he's down, the other villain is like, oh, but I was here. And it's like, oh, wait. Why weren't you taking advantage of this conflict? If you had a chance to take down one of the your greatest threats. There we go. If you had a chance to take down one of your greatest threats, why were you just like chilling in your lair this whole time? Like, the Jotaro and Dio fight is a bad example though, because the success came at the cost of the story. In order to make that fight happen and not have Jotaro lose, they had to give Star Platinum time powers it didn't have, with no explanation. Well, I mean, I kind of agree with you on that, but I find that funny for a reason. But I'm gonna say this first. They did say a couple of times how Jotaro and Dio stands were very similar, and it was kind of a hint towards Jotaro having that ability. But yeah, it was kind of like out of nowhere if you didn't already know the memes and stuff. And then it bothers me that you say that, because not directly, but to me that kind of sounds like a counter to your other one. Not saying that it was good writing. It was good action though, because it was an intense fight. Let's see. See, you saying that we didn't have enough information made it cheap, which I agree with, but let's see. Let me make sure I got what you said before right. Yeah, so you said that they should also restrict powers for the sake of the story. So okay, maybe these don't collide as much as I thought. Okay. No, alright. They don't. But yeah, like but if everything was explained outright, some things I feel like everything being explained outright can subtract from something. I can't think of the term, but like there are definitely villains who would have definitely won if they didn't just tell the heroes how their powers work. It's kind of stupid. Like, no one in their right mind would ever do that, except for cocky overlords, which they always have to be in order for the hero to get a chance, which feels kind of cheap because the villain definitely should have won, but for the sake of story they sacrificed his power. What is the correlation you're going to make? Giving Jotaro time powers is exactly what I mean. The battle could not have been good. Could have been good, but it wasn't. Well, I don't agree. Or well, I agree with you that it wasn't a good ending to the story, but as a fight it was awesome. It's kind of like for me, I really like Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, the Dragon Ball movies, but I admit their stories are average at best. But I don't watch them for the stories. Those are series that I watch because of the crazy fights. With how absurdly large explosions can get, how fast they can fight, how the villain can be so heartless sometimes. You know, characters spontaneously getting power-ups is really cool for a fight, but for a story, like, sometimes it's like, what the heck? Like with Super Saiyan, they were alluding to the Super Saiyan for a while. We didn't know what it was. And then when it came out, due to Goku's anger, that was legit. That was awesome. But without the fights, there's really no reason to watch Dragon Ball Z. Instead of, you got time powers, they could have done something like, at that point, Star Platinum's power was reversing the state of things. It could have become a battle of attrition. So you're saying that Jotaro could have had a different extra ability? That could be good. I could also argue that the author's intention was to show that Jotaro could outdo Dio at his own game. I think that's what he was going for. That's just how long-standing series tend to be. Yeah. But I intend my story to be very different. Well, at least from anything that I've seen in anywhere. First, it'll start out actually more like a slice of life with just me and my my mascot Cece, the purple-haired cat girl that I don't think I showed you on stream, but I think I told you to look in the about page. It's just down there. She's pretty cute. But it'll just be me and her, and then we'll go on some sort of adventure and explore space, and you know, just going to places and doing whatever. But then eventually we'll get into conflict, and I'll have to start acquiring power to defend myself and help others, and etc. And it'll take a long time before I'm anywhere near like the top of the power scale. Like, for a long time I'm actually planning to be more of like a not a sidekick, but like there will be definitely other people that are more on hero status than me that are taking the front of the charge, because it's not accurate for just a random guy like me to start exploring space and suddenly becoming someone who can counter these villains, whether they be magical or kings, gods, whatever. I'll be nowhere near being able to fight them until like decades after I've started my journey. I'll need to work out, train, acquire weapons and like gear of sorts, techniques, skills. I mean, I've never done anything near like hero status except in VR. Like I've fought like in gladiator rings in Gorn, and I've, you know, shot a couple of times in the ranges of H3 VR, also known as hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades. But as far as being a hero, I'm far from it. And I will never be some sort of righteous, like, noble hero. Once I acquire the power to deal with villains myself, I'll be doing it in ways that will probably be less than merciful and fair. I'll be trying to stop them from doing evil. I don't care about how I do it too much. I mean, I won't be like killing their family or anything to, you know, make them give up, but I'll be pulling every trick in the book trying to stop them. You know, like, it just doesn't make any sense to restrict yourself by such a code. You need to get the job done, otherwise billions could die. Like,
Playlist queued up.
although
Pizza at
I do intend to make the top charts of protagonists, most powerful protagonists in fiction. That is, if everything goes right. If I actually like get to the point to where I can make my series into something that gets big. Obviously this is like 5 years from now or something, at least. But I will also be going to, throughout this journey, I'll be trying to add weapons to my arsenal, you know, learning techniques and skills, and eventually I want that to lead to me discovering some sort of ultimate power that allows me to manipulate the universe itself, basically. And it won't be completely OP until I master it, and gain even more power. But it's sort of gonna be my goal, I guess, is that I'm gonna want to be able to take down any threat and get rid of any problems I ever could have as soon as possible, basically breaking every limit I can, which I think sounds pretty cool, but I don't know, other people could disagree. And then I'm always gonna try and be conscious about how it plays out, how I'm going to write this story, what makes sense, what's necessary, what's not, you know, what will people like, what do I like, you know, just, it'll take a long time, but I'm really determined to make this the best I can. I'm not necessarily trying to please any critics or to, you know, make it like a sellable or whatever. Like, I don't want like companies to come by and be like, all right, well, we'll pay you this much for your series, as long as you take out all these moments, because I don't know, we don't like them and we think that it could be better without them or whatever, or hey, we'll make your series but you gotta make it longer, because otherwise we won't be able to make as many episodes or whatever. I don't know. I want to keep my vision intact, and my vision is becoming more solid by the day. I don't know, have I been talking about it for too long? I feel like I've been talking about it for a while without any responses. I apologize if you're not interested. Even if you're watching in the future through a VOD or a YouTube video. Although I won't be sharing all of my ideas entirely, because I'm afraid that I don't know, a company might grab it from me before I can do anything with it. So I'm trying not to talk about the things that will make my series truly special, which makes it sound like I have like a secret bag of tricks to success, but they could all fail. I have no idea. Sometimes it seems like the best series of all time only get one season, and it's like, well, why does that happen? If everyone loves this series, why doesn't it have enough money to make more? I don't know. Maybe one day I'll find out. But I gotta get there first. And hopefully whoever you are behind this camera will support me through it. I don't know. Leave a follow, maybe? I don't recommend you subscribing to my YouTube channel. At least not while I'm making this VOD, because it literally just has the VODs from Twitch. I'm not putting any effort over there. I'm gonna be honest. And honesty is the best policy. Whatever. Basically, to summarize the last, like, what, 30 to 40 minutes, I think I have good ideas. I'm going to put them in a story and see what happens. Anyone still there? Live? Any more questions or responses? I don't know. I guess if I don't get a response in I don't know, 5 minutes, I could just end it here. Wish I had more of a chat to interact with, but I think it was pretty good for time. Maybe I should be focusing more on writing the story than my Twitch. Lol, yeah? Okay. Is there a big delay? I don't know. I used to have it set to have the lowest latency on my streams, but Twitch might have gone like lol no and reverted my settings or something. Well, since you're still here, I'd like to know what you think. Well, that one wasn't very delayed. I felt like I was asking for a response for a while though. Anyway, What do you think? Any ideas or thoughts? I'll give him time to write it, especially because of stream delay. I don't know if you do, but I have my latency off because my internet is meh right now. Alright, well. What do you think of what you've heard so far from my story? We can get off the topic of internet. Do I have any notifications? No, not really. Book sounds fine. Just don't let it fall into Gary Stew. Oh, Mary Sue. Well, that's I already kind of went over that. Is that I'm going to make my life a living hell at first, okay? Once the adventure starts, I'm going to be facing major problems, but those problems are going to be inconvenient at least, and everyone hates inconveniences. So how I decide to get rid of them will be through, well, improving myself and my odds, and you know, trying to reach that state to where my problems become basically zero. But it'll take a long time. My immense power will be clearly earned. It won't be like, you know, All Might making Izuku Midoriya eat his hair. And even though it took Izuku like a year to get a handle on it, and it'll take him like probably 3 more years to get to mastering it, it's still a short amount of time to become way too powerful for anyone else to stop, it looks. And then there's like other ones, like that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Like, Rimuru Tempest basically does nothing except win, and the only time he lost was like because he wasn't there. And so what he did next was he became 10 times more powerful so that it wouldn't happen again. And he's only been in that world for like 2 years. Oh my gosh. There's other characters as well. I mean there's Issei from High School DxD, but his immense power is more funny than annoying, because it's like, what the heck. But yeah. Yeah. Like Jotaro, he started out with an immensely powerful stand, and throwing enemies at him only made him more adjusted to his abilities and made him stronger. Like, those stand users had to do zilch to earn their powers, which is kind of annoying, but that's the concept, so I can't really get mad at it. When I get to the level to where I can defeat a villain like Dio on my own, it will be because it took me like 10 goddamn years at least. And you'll be able to follow Cosmic throughout that entire journey. And it won't always be about fighting villains and serving justice. Because I think that's another thing, is that there's a lot of series that focus a lot on the action, and they do that, but they never take time to show what it's like when there's nothing going on, or maybe there are things going on, but it wasn't about a villain or a threat, so they just like skipped over it. Mine will be different. Like, after a villain's defeated, you know, it'll be like, well, what now?
Rising and shining to take on,
you know, there won't always be another villain to take down, because like, it's not how it really is. In real life, it's not like we took down the Axis powers in World War II and we're like, alright, who do we fight next? No, we haven't gone into any real major wars since the Korean War, and really that wasn't a great war. But like, most of the time there's like nothing to do, and I want to like go over that. Not to say that I'm gonna purposefully make my series boring. I want to make it interesting during those breaks, and maybe people will call it filler, but I don't think it gets addressed enough. And I don't know, maybe I'll just like start living a normal life, you know, find a wife and have kids and a family, and then, oh no, villain pops up again, but it won't like time skip over that. It'll go through the entire time I took to like date and marry that girl, or not Cosmic, because that it's okay, it is me. I keep saying me, but you get the idea. I want to have the freedom to do anything. So, you know, maybe there's a section of horror. You know, maybe I get spooked. I don't know. There's chances that I could just like I could what's something else I could do? Like, there's an entire universe to explore, and I'm intending to like basically have any world that I can think of to be possible. So there could be a world that runs off of like magic, you know, with mages and kingdoms and whatnot. But then there could also be another one that's like full of demons. There could be a heaven. There could be a world with technology beyond our imagination. Well, not mine, because I'm writing it. There could be worlds that are steampunk, just like I mean, kind of like in Doctor Who. In Doctor Who, like, he takes his his science box basically anywhere in time and space. He can fight warlords or aliens, whatever. All of it is on the table. And I kind of want the same thing for me, except I won't be messing with time. No thank you. Time is just a mess. If I ever mess with like time powers or whatever, machines of any kind, I will try and make it as simple and clear as possible, but there's so many contradictions that could come up. It's gonna be something that I'll probably avoid. Although, again, I feel like I'm talking too much. Some company could steal all of this, take all my ideas, and succeed without me. Oh no. Just kidding. I have a viewer count of 3, and so if I find something that has all these ideas in it very soon being announced or something, I'm gonna be very pissed and confused. Although I doubt they'd be able to do it in the same way that I plan. They have the ideas, and but I got like the other 90-ish% up here. It's also the main character is going to be based off of me, and so I doubt some other company will be able to base their character off of me, and so even if somehow they copy a lot of things, they can't copy me.
You ready to go? Daddy's gonna be home soon. We're gonna have Boston dinner. Dale and Allie.
I forgot about that. Well, I mean, I talked a lot. I talked to Silver and VR Player. I don't think there was anyone else though, but that's how it goes. So if you enjoyed this stream, then you might enjoy my other stuff as well. So perhaps you want to leave a follow. I don't know. I've said that like 3 times this stream, but usually I only say it at the end here. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, night, or anything in between, whatever time it is for you. I hope you enjoy the rest of it. So yeah, that's gonna be it for me. Goodbye to whoever you are. If you're viewing this, I appreciate you. But yeah, time for me to go.